In this video, I'm gonna break down the Achilles heel for introverted people and what we can do to manage this before it becomes our downfall. Now, first of all, it's not a bad thing to be an introverted person, but we do need to be aware of the things that challenge our lifestyle and how to overcome these challenges. And one of, if not the biggest challenge for us introverted people is going to be loneliness. Loneliness is something that, it hits everybody, but when it hits introverts, it can hit us hard. It can lead us to some of our darkest depressions, but it can also lead us to do things unconsciously. And one of them is going to be getting ourselves in relationships. Now, I spent years in bad relationships, and when I look back on it, I'm like, why did I spend so long in these bad relationships? And I realized that I was avoiding loneliness. As long as I was in a relationship, I was not technically lonely. And when you go out there in the dating world, chances are 95% of people are just looking for someone to avoid their own loneliness. And it's kind of like going to the grocery store when you're starving, right? You're gonna just take anything off the shelves, and that is not the outlook that we want to have. We do not want to be coming from this place of desperation. So the number one thing we have to be aware of is when we are feeling lonely. And we also need to not be so hard on ourselves, because being lonely is okay. For some reason, we react to loneliness as if it's this hot potato. I gotta get rid of this feeling. Who do I have to sleep with? Who do I have to go out with? What do I have to do to get rid of this lonely feeling? And we don't really need to treat it like that, but it does hit introverted people, I think, a lot harder, because we just naturally have this incubated lifestyle where we can realize, holy shit, I spent a week and I didn't really talk to anybody, wow, I spent a few days and I didn't even leave my house or my room, so when it does hit us, it can hit us a lot harder because we're living in this lifestyle and we look around and we're like, well, who do I talk to? What do I do? But what's very important is that we let the loneliness run its course. We don't have this hot potato feeling. We actually say to ourselves, man, I'm feeling lonely right now. And that's okay. It really is okay to be lonely. It doesn't have to be a knee-jerk reaction to do something. We can sit with that feeling and be okay with it. And while we're sitting with that feeling, we can remind ourselves of the journey that we've been on. We can remind ourselves of all the things that have happened to get us into this place, all of the things we overcame, the reason why we are lonely, the reasons why we are single now. If we're single, we are single because we are working on ourselves. We are trying to get into a relationship organically. Maybe we're trying to have this period of self-growth and incubation so that when we do get ourselves back out there, it's something that is more intentional and it's less getting out there because we are avoiding loneliness. We also want to remind ourselves to have faith. Have faith in this process that you have. You're on your own timeline. We're not competing with anyone else. We are doing our own thing. It's not over. When we look back at our journey is still going. So we have to have faith in that we are on the exact right path that is meant for us. We also have to look around and find the love. Love in what we're doing, love in what's around us. Because chances are we might have forgotten to tune into ourselves, right? We might have forgotten to tune into our own heart and to tune into loving ourselves. When we look around our room, our environment, what are we doing day to day? Do we love what we're doing. We need to kind of remind ourselves of that sometimes because we can start to get into autopilot with our job or whatever. We have to remind ourselves what the intentions are in our life. How are we growing? How are we choosing to get better? What are we doing that is making us confident in ourselves? And maybe this period of loneliness is because we fell out of balance. We haven't been socializing. So once we recalibrate ourselves, we accept the lonely feeling. We say, you know what? We're lonely. Let it run its course. And then remind ourselves of our journey. Remind ourselves of why we love ourselves. Remind ourselves of what we're doing, what we love, and then we can say, okay, how can we find balance in having some sort of social outlet? What can we do to get ourselves out there so that we're not so imbalanced and the loneliness doesn't hit us hard? And on that note, I created this next video, which is a hack for all introverts to step into social situations. This is what I do when I'm going to things by myself, completely by myself, a social party, concert, whatever. This is what you can do to start getting social again. But also, I want you to check this video out too. This is a video of other causes for depression, not just loneliness. This is something we just need to be aware of so that it doesn't hit us so hard and it doesn't feel like it's coming from out of nowhere. When we are aware of these things, we can take the power back. They don't have to hold power over us. I will see you in those next videos, and stay creative.